Hello, everyone. This is Julian of Julian Gray Media. I haven't said that in a while. Welcome to this month's Fix Your Project stream. Today, we're going to fix up some project files submitted by the community over on Patreon and Discord. If you're curious and want to submit your project for next month's stream, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. You can sign up on there. Any pledge over $10, which is my second tier, can submit to these streams. I will work on your project file. You can download it afterwards. No credit needed. I just want to make your guys' projects better. So if you're interested in that, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. You can find out all the details there. And if you sign up today, we're actually going to do a Patreon meetup call following these streams. We do it every month, and we have a little community get-together for all of the students over on Patreon and Discord. So without any further ado, I'm excited to get this thing going. We're going to hop into some projects today. We have 3 submissions for today's stream, and it's looking like they're going to be some good submissions. The artists that submitted them are awesome. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. You can click on the screen right now to subscribe, or you can go to my channel and do that yourself. All right. So to start things off, let's go ahead and switch over to our desktop here, and let's get things going. So I believe this may be the time where we actually fix the audio issues. If you're new to the stream, you might not get that reference, but anybody who watches these streams regularly knows that I have an issue with audio almost every single time I stream. So hopefully this stream will be the stream to end the audio issues. Ideally, that will be the case, but we'll see. You never know with these sorts of things. I always run into issues with running multiple versions of Ableton, but today I'm running both versions of Ableton from the start. I'm not going to quit either of them. Hopefully, it resolves our audio problems. So we have a few projects today to work on. I'm going to go to the folder here. It's on my desktop. And yeah, I'm just going to actually pin this folder to my sidebar. All right, we have 3 projects today, as you can see. We have Drop the 130 BPM D# minor. We have Raw Fish. And we have Welcome to the Neon City. Now, if you guys want to tell me which one sounds the most interesting to you, I'll pick the one that you guys pick to start things off. First, I'm just going to go ahead and unzip all of these, and we'll get things going. All right, it's unzipping. The drop sounds fun. All right, we'll do that one. We'll open with that one, and then we'll check out the other 3. All right. So as always, I try to open them in live 10 first. If it doesn't open in 10, then we know it's an 11 session, and we'll open it in 11. Just do that so that you guys can send in older project files without having them completely updated to the new version. That way you don't lose the ability to open them again. Okay, so this is, in fact, an 11 session. Let's go ahead and open this in live 11. All right. I am crossing my fingers today. I believe that we have finally fixed the audio problems. I am very much jinxing myself by saying that, but I think that this is it. I'm feeling good about this stream, guys. I'm feeling very good about it. Got my Ethernet plugged in. Got my Ableton running. The audio driver seems more solid today. Crossing my fingers that it doesn't drop. We'll see. All right. Gotta make sure we have the right audio selected, and let's go ahead and play this thing and see if it doesn't kill audio. All right. Okay. Now we are missing some plugins, but seems to be okay. Suvi. I'm here. Thanks for looking at my project. I believe this is his session. Very cool so far. Love the break beat. All right, I can turn it up. Let me know if that's better. Cool groove, man. Okay, halftime. Has a little bit of a 2012 feel here, that's for sure. Nothing wrong with that though. Cool. I love breakbeat, man. I've been working on some myself lately. Okay. Nice. I love it. He says, I used to hate breakbeat until I discovered how fun it was to make. Yeah, it's such a satisfying genre. All right, so this has a really cool idea to it. I love the rhythm that you have. I like the sounds that you've selected. I am hearing a little bit of musical dissonance in some of the musical sections in relation to one another. I want to double check those for you. I have a very good relative ear for pitch, and I feel as though maybe I can identify some conflicts that you may not hear. I believe that it's kind of diminishing the way the harmonies feel, no pun intended. And if we can resolve that, then we can probably improve the record a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and move the stuff around a little bit so that we have all of the musical elements next to each other. I think that's here, and then the bass and kick are here, so we can collapse kick. We can probably collapse this. And let's go ahead and compare the layers here. I want to make sure that our layers are moving together and synchronous. The best way you can make a drop feel cohesive is if all of the layers are perceived as one big chord rather than individual layers. So I'm going to see if we can, make all of the things move together a little bit cleaner. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these layers and identify where the problems are. Okay, that's cool. Those supporting melodies are very hard to hear, these little ghost notes, as it were. But it doesn't sound like they're conflicting. Just for my sake, I'm going to turn this up for a second. Okay, so there is a little bit of conflict there. I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze these. I have serum, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's go ahead and take a look. At what point in the song does this open up all the way? Because that's where we really are going to see the most conflict. So right here, for example, this is a good example of somewhere where we're facing conflict, I think, because the notes are not hitting at the same time. Like, you go down to this note here about 4 beats late compared to the other layer, and probably compared to your chords as well. So if we like soloed this and then soloed this is going to sound fine because these two are moving at the same time. Actually don't want these on, so let's hear this now. There's a weird chord here. We can address that in a minute, but I want to make sure that it's moving all together first. So my suggestion would be, let me just make a duplicate of this, and I would say shift this over so that this whole thing lands on the 1 like this. And maybe do the same here. Not sure if this is going to work, but in theory it should, and it should make this flow better. Let me mute the chord for a second. That's kind of bothering me. See how it floats together better now because the pieces are moving together? That's what I would say is the large issue here, or at least the issue for me. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I think that it makes the whole track feel a bit more cohesive if you do this. So I'm going to shift these over. I'm going to put this one here as well. I think this is an alternate. We'll just make this yellow. And then this is the same as this one. And this is the same as this one. Okay, and then let's go ahead and copy these to this as well. And all we're doing is we're lining up where these big chords land. You've established with the chords and the main lead that, you know, these notes are hitting right on the 1s of each bar. Like this is a bar, right? You want to have these big movements on the 1s. It's okay to have like subtle movements in between like this. Like you've established this is like an, I think a quarter note movement. or a sixth or eighth note. But to have these big chordal changes, you want them all to be on the same spot, and that's what we've done here just by moving those over a little bit. So I think that's a little bit stronger. I'm going to go ahead and copy this across to the other sections. Oh, everybody say hi to Katie.
Hello. Going to work.
Katie's going to work. Goodbye, dear.
I love you.
Love you too. All right. And then we're going to copy it to the other sections. So let's do that here. And just as a pro tip, before you copy MIDI like this, want to enable automation lock so that you can move the MIDI clips without changing automation. It's a huge time saver. So this stuff is different. You may have to do this yourself. I'm not going to mess with the halftime drop just because it's a completely different idea and it would take a lot of time. But I think that you can do some adjustments to this too to follow a similar rule where you move the big chordal changes with the big chord movements. Okay, the other thing I wanted to address that was bothering me was the sound, or the chord sound has a weird chord here. There's a weird interval in that chord. Let's go ahead and unfreeze this. I'm going to unfreeze all three of these. I have Serum. And if you guys submit to these streams in the future, you can say it's safe to say every time you use Serum, you don't have to freeze it because it's like my go-to synth. I use it every time. So I can always open that. Okay, let's bring these chords in with this guy, and let's see if we can fix that one note that was bothering me. I'm going to go ahead and move the synths above the kick and bass now because I want to compare the bass and the chords now. The bass and chords are kind of one voice. Like you want to have the bass legato movement like this perfectly in sync with your chords. You want your bass to feel like just an extension of the chord. So we're going to work on the bass and this at the same time. But let's go ahead and start with the chords and see if we can find the correct interval for that third chord. I think this is going to make a big difference. You hear that? I think it's, let's see. Yeah. That is like not of the scale. I think you're in the wrong scale. Let's go ahead for the C sharp again. It's kind of quiet. Is there a way for me to... Here, I'm going to do this again. Make an alternate color so we can see it. Copy it across all three, and then we'll check it. So that's okay. The note is consistent, but it doesn't have any movement now. So let's go ahead and try a different interval here. Yeah, so that's instantly better. I'm going to go ahead and copy that to this as well. We just got rid of that one note, and I think it helped a lot. Like it made it less tense. That note is dissonant to the key of the song. I think what you may have been doing is like you had the key set to something else and you just weren't using all of the notes of the scale. So like it wasn't evident that it was set to the wrong scale or that you were writing in a different scale. It was just set to the wrong scale, or you're implying a different scale with the notes you picked, and the note that was in the scale wasn't the correct interval. So like I think this is actually a different scale than you had selected. You had like D sharp, E flat selected. I don't think that's the scale. I think it's actually, let me see if I can find it for you. Trying to go to, okay, so it is D flat or D sharp, but Just that interval just did not work in that chord, I guess. All right, so let's do that, and then we'll also add the bass in to see how that sounds with it. So, yeah, I feel this could be stronger if we did the same on the bass line. So we follow the root note of the chord here. So let's just go ahead and highlight these two. And let's see if we can follow the bass line. So like, that's fine. And then I think we can probably do. Oops. That's fine. Oh, these are the same. I think I might have been adjusting two different clips here. Hold on, let me do that again. Yeah. That E sharp is kind of strange there. Too many clips selected. These could probably be octave. And I would say, yeah, whenever we use that E, you can just lean into the F. Yeah, just making it follow feels better to me. Let's go ahead and bring the synths back in too. You probably want to do that for this as well. Like you want to follow the melody with the lead as well. But the bass and the chords are playing nicer together now. Let's go ahead and try this breakdown. Hey, it sounds great. All right, let's play this in the context of the record now. Ah, I see. So the bass, the sub does the same thing. I gotta copy this to the sub as well. Let's go ahead and do that really fast as well. Okay, this is the last change in the bass, I promised. Let's do this. Ah, dang it. Hold on. Do that. So we have the sub at the bottom, and we can compare it to our bass line, like so. Yep. And we could just do it here, I think. And let's go ahead and open this MIDI. Yeah. And then let's follow this again. So that's D sharp. That's, what is that? F sharp. And then we're going to an E sharp. And then you're predominantly using the C sharp, so you've done that already. This is that. A sharp. And then this is a C sharp. Probably octave that. And you probably should follow this instead of like syncopated there. Julian, somebody says. That's me. A sharp. And then this is a G sharp. And like I said, I think you should use the F sharp whenever you reach for these like support notes rather than the E sharp. It's just not as good of an interval. It's the 2 versus the 3. The 2 is like not as harmonic against the root as the 3 is. And then this is the last note, and that's going to be a C sharp, and you've already done that. So now this sub should match perfectly with our other elements too. I'm going to go ahead and save these as a purple clip, and we'll copy it. I believe this is actually a different clip from the first half. I don't know, maybe not. Love you too, buddy. See how like the bass now moves together? I'm not in love with the chord progression. Like this third chord, using the 2 there is an interesting choice. It's not my favorite interval. Like I would prefer to go for like a 5 or like a 4, like a. That's the 5 and the 4 would be that. But you know, 2 can be really tense and dark if you do it right. So I'm going to leave it where it was. I don't want to change your song too much, but I think that just making your bass line follow your chord structure will help a lot. Make your songs feel better and more full sounding. I think in general, my favorite part is this breakdown. I'm probably partial, but I like legato bass sounds that like carry the same note as the bottom of your chord stack. It's just kind of like a progressive house like thing. If you listen to all my music, I have like a legato sub underneath. I don't do the staccato thing as often, and if I do, then it's always following right under, like with a dotted 8th or like a 16th note. But yeah, sounding really cool. I like this a lot. I think that's where I'm gonna call it on this one. So you can consider this like how I would approach this song in fixing it. Obviously, as always, take my opinion with a grain of salt. This is my opinion, and I don't really write breakbeat as much as I enjoy it. Yeah, those are the things I think you can clean up. And I think maybe like across the board, if you tighten up the timings of stuff so that all of the stuff moves together rather than having so many different syncopated melodies on top of each other, like polyrhythmically, it would clean up the song a lot and make it a lot stronger. But it's a really cool idea, man. I'm happy to see you doing breakbeat. It's a really underappreciated and underrated genre. Really love this. I think this is what we're going to call it for this song. Let's go on to the next one. Everybody in the chat give Round of applause for Suvi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Savai. Yep. Cool. Great work, man. I hope to see you in the meetup call after the stream over on Discord. If you're just joining the stream now, we're going to do a little Discord meetup after for patrons of the channel and for my Patreon supporters in general. It's over on discord.gg/JulianGray, and you can go and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/JulianGray. All right, so that was that. I love this one. Really cool track, man. Love it. Consider that fixed. Let's go ahead and compress it and call it done. All right, so next up, we have Raw Fish. I don't know who sent this in. They didn't put their name on it. But it's called Raw Fish, and it looks like there's a lot of revisions of this. I think I'm going to open the newest one, July 21st. That looks to be the one. Let's open it in live 10 first, and then we'll open it in live 11 and see what happens. Guys, we have not had an audio problem yet. Is this the first? Is it the first to not have any audio problems? We'll see. It could very well be the last time we had audio issues, the last stream, and this is maybe the first time we resolve those problems. Okay, this Raw Fish one is also 11. Let's go ahead and open it in a live 11. Hey, I think the audio problems are resolved. If you're excited for them to be resolved, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And give this video a like. Or don't give it a like. Just smash the button or whatever they say these days. All right. This is Raw Fish 28F. I think 28 is the revision number, and F is... I don't know what F means. F to pay respects, I guess. Okay, so it is called Suvi. No. Okay. All right, I'm assuming this is you and I. I think it's you and I, just like spelt out in a phonic way. This is his session, I believe. We're going to take a look at it today and give it a play. Not sure why it's hitting my CPU hard. This is weird. This particular project's like not thrilled. It's probably just loading still, buffering in samples. You can try to play it, but I don't think it's going to play yet. Well, we'll see what happens, I guess. Chugging a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, starting it with a tempo ramp. I love that. Tempo ramps are underrated. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I want this to speed up to like 130. Like, am I the only one? I feel like if this went up to like 130, like a techno kind of speed, it'd be cool. has all the components in place to be like a banger at 130, you know. Like that, like classic trance, classic prog sound. Unfortunately, I can't unfreeze stuff. I don't have Spire. So, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do, but I want to try this at 130. I think it would go really well. Yeah. Like, picture this, right? Well, I'll let it play through as it is first. And then we'll go to 130. No issues on this stream so far. This is great. All right. I think it kind of just ends. We don't have like an outro yet. All right. Hear me out. This is like what it would sound like at 130. I think, hey man, I think that's kind of cool. It could even go like 135, which would be kind of crazy, but like that, if you know that Calvin Harris song Miracle, or like any of IO or Tiesto's old stuff, it's kind of like that. Like, you could also go like 125 and do like that, like Porter Robinson virtual self kind of sound. Like, I like all of them. I just feel 121 is a little bit slow for this kind of plucky stuff. But I'll leave it there for the time being because I don't have your plugins, and there's no way for me to like unfreeze these, and it's just going to be stretched audio if I change the tempo. So my philosophy, I think, is to change the tempo up to like 125 at least, maybe 130. That's my instinct, to quote unquote fix it. Just would make it higher energy and feel a little bit cooler, in my opinion. But we'll move on from that and try just doing some mixing stuff. I think that a large part of what's dragging this track down is like the mix. Cool writing stuff. Before I get started in that, though, I wanted to mention you have this really awesome like tempo ramping intro. So like you build and build the tempo here. You're building it for like probably 30 seconds. I would say don't do a break here and go right into a pseudo drop. Like if you were to just copy like a chunk like this, like here, and then you just removed like the percussion or something, like I could just do that really fast actually. So like copy and then And then like lose the melody maybe, like, or maybe not that melody, but like the whatever the pad type thing is. Yeah, this one. Like even if you did something like this where it's just kind of falls into a so you're building. And then I would say like skip this section and then do this later in the song as like an actual breakdown. Like so like maybe it's something like this actually. I know I'm gonna butcher your track, but I think there's something here. So like, you know, you could just use that as a breakdown instead of as like the, you know, as an intro. So you actually like have a climactic section from this intro section. I think that would be cooler. All right, that's kind of cool in its own way. Let's go ahead and take a look at this mix and see if I can make some improvements on it. I think I might be able to. So first and foremost, I want to address the kick and bass. That's the most important thing. Let's go ahead and solo those. And I actually am going to pull your kick out of your drum bus. You typically don't want to mix your kick in the same bus as your other percussion, just because you treat a kick very differently. It's almost its own instrument from something like a hi-hat or a clap or whatever. So I'm going to paste this onto here. I don't believe in doing this. I've seen this method before, but to me this always makes it sound like MP3 quality, so I'm going to delete that. When you roll off the top of something, it just gives it this inherent MP3 sound, because MP3, when you encode an MP3 file, it was designed to save data. So if you actually look at an MP3, everything above like 15K is chopped off, like a completely deleted. It's not even existent in the file. And everything below, I think, 20K or 20 hertz is deleted as well. So there's this inherent like lo-fi quality to MP3, even like a high quality MP3. And yeah, when you do this like high cut thing, it just sounds like an MP3 to me. It sounds bad. And I just don't believe in doing that. I know a lot of people say to do that for the sake of like mud and stuff, but honestly, the high end is so crucial to clarity that I would never roll it off like that. So that's just something you should know. All right, so I got my kick now severed. It's going to be much louder than everything because we just pulled it out of a group that was -14. So I'm going to give this like -10. Let's solo that. Okay, this is too loud. Pull that back even a little bit further. And then I'm actually going to just remove the high pass or high cut that you've added to it. Again, it gives it like an MP3 kind of quality. Got this cat toy that rolls around. It's like will not turn off. Okay, now it's off. Gotta entertain the boys somehow. All right, kick is fixed. See how like it makes it feel less like lo-fi, just cleaner. It's probably the same for the bass. I never advocate for doing this. You really don't need to do that. It's actually going to make your mix much worse. Let's throw in the bass with it. And skip to like the drop. So, okay, compare that to this. It's like night and day cleaner. There's more of these on the track level that I can't erase, but if you remove this, it would make your track like 2 times cleaner. You know the what's the word I'm looking for? The experience, but that's not the word. But anyway, it's like going under a pool of water, and you have like a muffled sensation of like what's going on above the water. That's what you're doing by rolling off the top, because when you roll off top end, you're emulating inadvertently or intentionally, you're emulating putting a medium in between you and the sound. High frequencies don't travel as far in air, so when you get further from something, all the high frequencies start to roll off. That's why you can hear like a boat horn from like 100 yards away, but you can't hear like crisp hi-hats. If you go to like a music festival, you can hear like a kick from like really far away, but you can't hear like the nuanced detail on the high end. So high end is perceived clarity, just programmed into your DNA and into the way we think as human beings. So when you're trimming high end off of anything, you're just making it less clear, which can be good for certain things. Like let's say you want to push a sound backwards in the mix, like you want it to be perceived as like 100 yards away, and you want to focus on one really crystal clear voice right in front of you. It could sound good that way if you put the low pass on something really far, or you want to be sitting in the back. But if you want it to be forward and present and clear, you got to have that high end in there. I actually go out of my way to boost high end on basses and kicks and stuff, just so it has like that teeth. So let's take a look at this bass. So we have this inherent lack of like 10K up, which is going to hurt your bass like clarity. It's not as offensive on the bass because the bass is all like grounded here. But it will make a big difference for things like high end. So this is ridiculous, but if I try to reverse that curve by just boosting, see how much clearer and teethier that sounds? It's not great. I would do this on the track level rather than like adding high end here to compensate, but I can't unfreeze Spire, so that will do for now. I'm going to say delete me when you remove the low pass on the child layers. Okay. Now you can probably do this actually for many of the instruments here, because I noticed that you did this also on the lead. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, this one's actually fine. I saw another layer though that you had removed the lows. Maybe it was just this. Maybe it's the melody. Yeah, so melody. So to me, this feels like it needs that high end because it's such a crisp element. And this just feels like a diminished version of the crispness. So, I mean, for the time being, you could just do this. he said. We made the same analogy. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just go ahead and remove the low pass. I think that'll make a huge difference in your mix. Like, it'll change the entire thing. Okay, and then let's take a look at the lead real fast. This one's actually bright. And we're going to use the same philosophy. I want this to be like your main present element. So I'm going to give the high end a boost on this one. Dang, Twitch and YouTube. What a pro. Hi, Jace. Jace over on Twitch. She is an amazing artist. One of my favorites on... who's released on my label Gradient. Super cool girl. Everybody say hi to Jace. Okay, so I want to address the bass. I think that we're lacking a little bit in the lower octave. So what I can do to show you this visually, that should help. If we look at span, I like that you had it preloaded. You can see we're missing a little bit of mid bass here. If I mute the kick, it'll be very evident. Let's go ahead and do that. It's going to make this like red or something so it's easier to see. Let's mute the kick and see what this sounds like or looks like without it. So we're missing some harmonics here. We're also missing like the super lows as well. You have nothing below like 80 hertz, which is not great. That's where your sub is. So first thing I'm going to tackle is that. Let's go ahead and see what you've got here. So your sub is actually here. It's just really quiet. Let's go ahead and reverse that. Sorry, I realized I didn't have span on the screen. You can see it's high favoring when the kick's not in there. We want to make this balanced even when the kick is not in there. So I just turned up the bass group quite a bit. That helped a little bit, but I want to make sure our sub is loud. Let's get that sub 60, sub 80 hertz up in volume so it matches our other bass volume. So I'm going to turn this up like 7 decibels or something. Yeah, it feels better already. I will say that this melody feels a little bit lackluster. Let's pull the volume up on this one. That might help us. Okay, what I'm hearing here, if we look at the span for this individual track, let's do that first. If we look at our melody on span, see how clear these harmonics are down here versus the top. The top is very reverberated. I'm going to turn up the top ones and turn down the low one. Now, if it were me, I would remove some of the reverb on this only. I think it's just a bit much. But I can't do that without unfreezing, so. And these two can probably come up in volume above the lower one. We want these to be high favoring because this is, in fact, a lead. Cool. That's a little bit better. Definitely need to remove that low pass, but now you know. All right, let's throw the bass back in there now. Okay, so it seems like you're doing your reverb and delay on sends. I'm just going to turn these down a little bit. Like, let's just go like -6 or something. In a similar fashion to what I was saying about the frequencies, if you're too far away from something, sometimes you get the reverberation signal more than you get the dry signal. So like if you're in a big space like this and I'm talking to you a foot away, it's very different than I talk for you for like 6 feet away. You get a lot more of the reverb signal and less of the dry. And as I get closer, you get more of the dry and less of the reverb signal. And what you're doing by turning up the reverb too much is that you're flipping that around and it's making it sound like it's farther away. Reverb does not make things big. It makes it feel like it's in a space. And yeah. So you're doing here. So I'm turning down the reverb and delay and it feels more present. Dryness is like your biggest ally in dance music. You want to have a really dry lead sound in the front. That's sounding better already. Let's go ahead and keep working on the bass now. So this bass is underrated, I think. We got to turn this up. All right, let's throw our kick back in there. There's still like a dullness to this melody because of the low pass, but I think it has improved quite a bit just by making these adjustments. Okay, I want to make sure your LFO tool is right. With your bass sound, this is not enough sidechain. We got to cut this thing almost all the way out and then make it shorter. We want to get rid of the bass entirely when the kick is playing, and we're going to do the same with the top melody. Just make it shorter. Generally, the shorter the better for sidechain. You don't want it to be too long, otherwise you end up with this weird like pump feel. I always go for like, you know, this kind of shortness. That's sounding better to me. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. I'm going to throw an EQ on the kick in general at the very end of the chain. And what I'm going to do is just scoop out some of your mids. It's kind of like boxy. Same thing on the kick. Remove the low pass. And these kicks are not like hitting the same. I would say commit to one of them and just not do both. I don't think you need both. hitting? I guess they're hitting the limiter too hot here. Remove all of that and just go for a basic limiter. And I'm just going to reset this as well. Just go for balance. The bass is a little bit too loud now. Melody's a bit too loud now. I don't like Ozone as much as I like Pro L for this sort of thing, because Pro L lets you see better what's going on. Like so. You could do this. So our kick is living here at like -6. We want to make sure that that's hitting almost to the peak. We want that to be the loudest element here. I don't know what you have on this, but it's not helping. Can I like reduce the decay? I'm not too fond of this kick sample, to be honest with you. This kind of mid in the literal sense and in like the sonic sense. It's very mid-centric. It doesn't have any like teeth at all, and the low end feels very loose. I would just say a better kick is probably in order. But yeah, let's check our balance again. We want this to be like almost to the top. And then we can place the bass underneath that. Pull that back a bit. This kick is like slightly too long too. Maybe we could take like a transient shaper. I don't know if you have this, but Kiloheart's transient shaper is amazing for this sort of thing if you're using a sample. But I would just replace the kick, to be honest. It's not a great kick. Go into here, do this, attack, and then set the sustain way down. This is like not a great kick. I think we're just trying to polish a turd, as it were. So I'm just going to do this really fast. And then we'll finish up mixing this, and then I think we'll call this one a wrap too. Julian wants his kicks to have teeth. Yeah. Duh. Teethy kicks. Teethy kicks. Freeze, flatten. So I can make this into an audio clip if it'll do it. Come on. I don't know, iLive is acting up now. I'm just trying to make this into a clip so we can convert it to MIDI. It's completely frozen. Nice. Well, that's nice. We're gonna have to restart this project, I think. Okay. Nice. Okay. Ableton crashed. Go ahead and redo that. Try that again. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. Oh no. I didn't save it. Maybe we can find the session. Hold on. Not sure why it crashed, but it did. Maybe it saved a backup. Hopefully. What is today's date? July. It did not save a backup. July. Dang, that sucks. Maybe I can like open the crash report. Nope. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, sorry that the project crashed on us. Don't know why that happened. Maybe there's a way I can get like get the project to you. That's abrupt ending. But I hope that the knowledge actually is helpful, and I guess you could probably watch through and recreate what I did. But that's really unfortunate. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way for me to save the session. It's not appearing in my crash folder or whatever. So I might be able to look for it after the stream, but I don't think I can do it now. Sorry about that. It was a really good session. I think that the kick replacement and then doing those adjustments that I was talking about, adding some high end to a lot of things will really help that out. All right, well, that's raw fish. Unfortunately, that crashed. We're going to have to move on to the next one, I guess. Sorry about that. I wish that maybe if I reopen live again, it'll do it. I don't think so. Well, that's just really unfortunate, but yeah, hopefully we can get it going. Or get it saved somehow. I don't know. All right. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just the new Ableton update. It's been really buggy and crashy lately. But yeah, that's that one. That one's Fish or Raw Fish by You and I. Really cool record. I'm sorry that we lost the progress on it, but it is a really cool song. And I think that you could definitely make that a really cool track if you employ some of the changes that I was suggesting. My computer got tired of listening to your song. Hey, maybe. I thought it was a really cool one, but alas. All right, everybody. Sorry for the weird technical issue, but F's in the chat. I guess you could rewatch the stream and recreate it if you really wanted to. Sorry about that. Or I could do like a mix for you or something. We could figure it out. But everybody give a little round of applause, even though we had to crash for Mr. You and I. Super cool tune. And I hope you guys learned something from that. A lot of cool fundamental stuff that we went over that can improve your songs tenfold just by making small adjustments. So, cheers. Looking forward to Teethy Kicks. Yeah, Jace, Teethy Kicks are 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. All right. Let's go ahead and open up the last one. This is Welcome to Neon City. I'm not sure who sent this one in. And this is also Live 10, or Live 11. So today we didn't have any Live 10 projects. That's actually awesome. Although Live 11 has been buggy as hell, so hence the crash. I've never seen it do that and crash to the point where I can't recover a project. It's very strange. Whatever, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. Maybe there's a version in the crash report or whatever, the crashed sessions, but at the moment it does not exist. All right, all of the claps in the chat make me happy. Next up we have Infinikid. It's called, what is it called? Oh yeah, Welcome to the Neon City. It's loading. Excited to check this one out. Third one of the day. A lot of plugins are not going to work. I already know because I don't have the Sound Toys bundle, and I got like 10 different click-throughs to activate when I loaded the session. But ideally, we hear majority of it, and we can work off of what we can hear. Let's go ahead and check this out. Any day now. Oh, so you have your audio routed to a different output. Makes sense. Let's do this. Actually, yeah, okay. Oops. All right. Second time's the charm. Pretty already. Ooh. That's chills, the chord shift. Woo. Oh, the clock is so nice. The major modal shift. Ooh, falls back into major there too. Oof, nice. It definitely gives me like Wizard of Oz. Ooh, cool bass. Yeah, it feels like we're going to a city for the first time, like driving in. Really cool tune, man. Woo! You've got that like When You Know, if you know the artist When You Know. You've got like his bass sound design mix down. That's really tight. Those little syncopated kick things you're doing are super nice. Oh, nice. Classic. So good. Yeah, it's got a little Matzo for sure. This is Infinikid, Jace. Sheesh. those chords, like the progression you've chose, is just impeccable. Sheesh. It's like chills every time that cycle goes. Ali, welcome. Finally able to catch your Fix Your Project stream while it's going on. Hello, welcome. Where'd you learn to do bass like that? Reminds me of When You Know a lot. It's like exactly how he does it. Man, what a tune. What a tune. It reminds me simultaneously of like 2014 like Monster Cat and like old school Silk music like Nigel Good or Shingo Nakamura or like Nigel Good's a really good ref for this. If you haven't heard his album Nowhere Out Here, I think it's called, or No Way Out Here. I'll show you what it looks like. I can't play it, but this Nothing Out Here. This album is like the epitome of what you're doing here. It's like this like chunky, like bubbly but like really syncopated and really fun progressive house. Oh yeah, he said I checked them out after you compared my track to them last time. I don't remember doing that, but like that's a good sign. I don't really have I don't have a ton of feedback for this. I think my one thought is maybe you could try some more like atmospheric legato elements in the second drop, just so you have like some difference between the first drop and the second one. Like if you filled like it with like a Monster Cat Silk-esque like full background pad, you know. Super like floaty, like synth legato pad in the second half might be really pretty. I don't have a ton of feedback to like improve it as it is. I think it's like a really solid song, like really well done. Probably one of the best that I've ever gotten submitted to one of these streams. It kind of gives like Feed Me a little bit, but it's definitely more in line with like Silk Music and Nigel Good and those guys than it is like Feed Me. Dusty Digital, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So I honestly, like, I don't really have that much critique. I mean, it's such a good record. You've really nailed it. Those little breaks that you do too, like those little kick stutters, like where you hold back for like an eighth note and then you drop it in. So cool. Any feedback on the kick? No, honestly, it really feels like cohesive to me. Like the way you've mixed the bass and kick feels. I was comparing it to When You Know earlier. He's probably one of my favorite mixers. Like he has this low end that is unparalleled. Some other artists that have a very similar sound probably Feed Me, though I think he doesn't do it as well. Bad Computer does it in a similar way. He's a really great artist too. But it's just like really chunky, like compressed bass, and it feels really really good with the kick that you have. I don't have any critique on the mix, man. I think you've really nailed it. I can't hear it in full because I don't have Golfus. Or I do have Golfus, but I don't have it on this machine. It sounds really solid though. Like I could give you creative feedback. I would say maybe make a shorter cut of it. Like 6.5 is kind of a long song in 2023. You can probably make it, 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and still convey the same thing. If you make that second drop a little bit different, I think it would be stronger. Like, again, incorporate some more legato elements, like big legato washy pads with ambient sound. A lot of like room reverb and convolution. Just to fill that second drop up, think like Monster Cat Silk. I think that would be really cool. But these are just creative things. I think that from like a sonics perspective, the song sounds amazing. Like the mix is good, the writing is good. And that's like the best like honor I can give on these Fix Your Project streams is that I don't have to fix anything. It feels really solid. The only thing again is creatively, like if you wanted to make it a little bit more approachable for an average listener, maybe make it slightly shorter. You can make that second drop a little bit different so it has some variation. I will say that lead synth, the one that really carries all the emotion of the record, it's a little bit gamey, not in a bad way per se, but if you're trying to avoid like the game affiliation, like the video gamey kind of sound, I would say maybe go for something a little bit more sophisticated than like I guess it's like a pulse width wave or something. Trying to find where that is again. Cool. If gamey was your brand, you've really nailed it. Like it has this, like I was saying when we were first listening, it has this inherent like going into a new city, like Wizard of Oz type, like Emerald City kind of vibe, like yellow brick road feeling, especially here. And I gotta say, again, when I was first listening, the chords immediately stood out to me, like the way you're doing those modal changes. It might not be a modal change. I'm not sure what mode you're using, but the way you're interlocking the major chords and those big shifts is super satisfying. Like, I get very excited as a musician when I hear chord progressions that inspire me. Because oftentimes I'll hear the same like 10, that a lot of tracks use. So again, it's a big compliment, I guess. He says it's 1/4, or major 1 to minor 4. Yeah, I think that's 4. Yeah. It sounds amazing. Like, I really don't have much to critique on this, man. Well done. I love it. Yeah, just some like atmosphere here. Like, I can just hear it in my head. Like, is this the... this is like so like cheap and not the right way to do this, but if you just did like something along these lines. Maybe not. I think it needs another layer that's legato. Like, I wonder if I could just like... Oh, that lag. You must have a lot on the master. That's like a good half a second. Yeah, I can't play it in, but maybe you could do like a big like washy pad. It's gonna play something, but no, it's fine. But yeah, just like some ambience, like some reverb, space filling, floor setting sound would be really nice here. Like, whatever I just put that on, yeah, I want to delete it. Yeah, I think just like, yeah, something to fill the space and to set the noise floor a little higher than just silent, because everything is so chunky. It would be nice to have like this big, like lush, like hug basically around the session, in the second half. So you have like something to fill those little gaps when you have such a chunky arrangement here. You have some stuff in there that sounds like it could be that, like you have pads and stuff. I would just like make them more present. You could probably add one as well. Yeah, like less sidechain, especially in the high end. Something more floaty and high reaching, or like space defining. I think that would be really nice. But yeah, man, I don't have any more critique on this one. I think it's fixed in that it's perfect as it was when I first got it. I don't want to change it any more than it already is, and I don't want to influence the direction too much. I think it's awesome. But those are my critiques. I think I'm going to call this a wrap as well, which means that our live stream today is coming to an end. Everybody give Infinikid a well-deserved round of applause. It's probably one of the coolest submissions we've got in a long time. Really love it. I didn't change anything to it, but it sounds really great. Everybody give them a little clippy clap in the description, or not the description, in the comments. And yeah, I think that just about does it for today's stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the first time ever we did not have an audio problem, so I know exactly what to do for next time, and I will do it next time. We did have Ableton Craft, but that's okay. I think that's excusable. At least the sound wasn't completely broken the entire stream like usually. And yeah, if you guys want to submit your project file for next month's stream, I do these streams the last or second to last week of every month on the corresponding Sunday. And if you want to submit your projects, go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. You can set a pledge up on there and you can submit your project to these streams. We also do a Patreon meetup call for our community over on Discord. That happens once a month as well on the same day as these streams, immediately following. So the next half hour or so, 2 p.m. Pacific time. It's 1:30 right now. We're going to have a little get-together over on Discord. So if you go make a pledge on Patreon, you get immediate access to that, and you can submit for next month's stream. So with that being said, I will see all of you who are tuned in and submitted your projects today over on Discord in about half hour. We're going to have our little monthly get-together and community gathering. It's been good to fix these sessions today. These are some of my favorite ones to work on in a long time, especially that last one. So good. And Finikid, you really blew it out the park with that session. Honestly, it's one of my favorites for a long time. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the next stream over next month, or maybe the next video, whenever that is. And I will talk to you guys over on Discord in a half hour, and looking forward to catching up with all of you. I'm Julian of Julian Gray Media. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.